Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
The bumper is the first to take the brunt of the impact, even in the event of minor contact with obstacles or in the event of an accident. But its damage is unlikely to leave the vehicle owner indifferent. Therefore, in the case of dents, they need to be eliminated. Quite often this can be done independently, without involving specialists from the car service. Sometimes it is easier and cheaper to eliminate a minor defect than to buy a new part and install it on the car. But to do this, you need to understand whether the element is reparable and how to properly straighten a dent in the bumper. If you still decide to turn to the masters, be prepared for the fact that not everyone will take up such work. It is not the most expensive, but it can be very difficult because of the design features of bumpers on different makes and models of cars. Therefore, quite often car owners prefer to solve this problem with their own hands. Set of materials and tools. Before straightening the bumper, it is recommended to collect the necessary set of tools and materials. Without them, it will simply not be possible to straighten the element. Since every car owner wants to achieve a high level of quality, you cannot do without preliminary preparation. Correct dents succeed on plastic bumpers. They can be deformed in the required and controlled direction. And here it is not necessary to use expensive and complex equipment. The standard set for straightening the bumper in garage conditions includes several of the most important components. Hairdryer. Only in the rarest of cases, when the bumper is very thin, you can do with a household hairdryer. But it is still recommended to find a construction model of sufficiently high power. This tool will come in handy for heating, which will further correct the broken geometry of the body element of your car. Powerful construction hairdryers can effectively heat even thick plastic, thereby giving the plastic product the desired shape. Boiling water. Very hot water is used for the same purposes as the previously discussed construction hairdryer. In some cases, boiling water can be substituted for a power tool. Water, close in temperature to 100 degrees Celsius, has a more gentle effect on plastic elements, and therefore it is often used as an alternative to the construction hairdryer. Boiling water should be prepared directly at the site of restoration work. It will be most convenient to use an electric kettle so that you do not have to wait long for a new portion of boiling water. Screwdrivers. Take a set of screwdrivers of different sizes. You can replace them with other similar tools that have blunt ends. It all depends on your arsenal of tools. Gloves. Since the work is to be done with boiling water and very hot air, which is created by a construction hairdryer, hands should be protected. For this purpose, you can use construction or household gloves. The main thing is that they can prevent accidental burns. Magnet. Since the car bumper often includes metal components, you may need a powerful magnet to pull out deformed elements. It is possible that you will have to slightly expand the available set of tools and materials. Everything depends on the specific situation. Quite often after straightening a plastic part, it has to be additionally painted. Therefore, it will be necessary to prepare a kit for restoring the paint layer on the bumper. Preparation stage. To get rid of a dent on a plastic bumper, it is first recommended to prepare competently. It is important to understand that the formed dents can be shallow and deep. In one situation, the paint layer is damaged, in another, not. Therefore, before starting work, experienced professionals recommend to carefully study the future front of work. Far not always the situation generally allows you to engage in the usual elimination of the dent, because cracks, chips, and other serious damage are formed. Simple straightening will not have any effect. Restoration will require serious time and financial costs. In practice, it turns out that the restoration of such a body element will cost more than buying a new bumper. When there are minor dents on the bumper, which did not entail the formation of cracks and chips, then safely proceed to straightening. Read also, how to paint a car bumper yourself. The preparation stage involves the mandatory cleaning of the surface with which the car owner will have to work. It is necessary to remove the old paintwork and get rid of all the contaminants that have appeared. Since we are talking about working with plastic bumpers, the material is quite fragile. When stripping surfaces, try not to use metal tools and hard sandpaper. The optimal solution will be the use of liquids for removing paint. Do not choose too aggressive substances, as some can even corrode the plastic. In the absence of such means at hand, even ordinary brake fluid will do. But after its application, try to quickly remove the remnants of the substance, so that the brake fluid does not begin to destroy the entire paint layer that is outside the dent. Step-by-step instructions. If the motorist has completed all the preparatory stages before straightening the bumper on his vehicle, you can proceed to the direct work with the damage. Here a big role is played by the correct heating. In theory, many know how to straighten the bumper using boiling water or a construction hairdryer, but in practice face certain difficulties. Therefore, try to focus and do not make common mistakes. To avoid inaccuracies and do everything correctly, strictly follow the instructions. To straighten the bumper, the fasteners are first removed from the plastic elements and dismantled. The motorist is unlikely to be able to work directly on the car, i.e., in the assembled state. It is only possible to try to pull out the dent with a powerful magnet, if the design provides for the presence of metal in the product. But since most often we are talking about ordinary plastic, it is better to remove the part at once. So the car owner will get simultaneous access to the inner and outer surfaces of the bumper. The treated area should be washed of dirt from all sides and dried. Be sure that the bumper is dry and clean. Use soapy water or degreaser. In no case should any dirt, traces of mold, or corrosion remain. Otherwise, they may cause unsuccessful restoration of the bumper by heating. When all the preliminary stages are completed, you should gradually start heating the product with a hairdryer or boiling water. It is more convenient to work with a hairdryer. Heating is important to carry out evenly, so that the plastic softens. The mistake of many home masters is overheating, where the plastic begins to literally melt. It will not be possible to fully restore the shape. Extreme care should be taken when pressing on heated surfaces. In the best case, you will have to repaint part of the bumper. At worst, you will waste time, money, and other resources, as you will eventually need a new bumper. When the plastic surface is heated by heating with a hairdryer or pouring hot water, the dent is pulled out gradually and very carefully. During the pulling process, you need to use circular motions, acting with the tool from the side. Never use sharp objects. Different blunt metal tools are best. Another option is to straighten the bumper yourself. It does not require any effort, but this method does not always work. When the element is heated, when it reaches the temperature of plasticity, the dent can straighten on its own. Therefore, after heating, wait a few minutes. It is possible that the high temperature will force the deformation to return to its former place. When the plastic element returned to its former form or got a new one, which the car owner wanted, you should proceed to the cooling procedure. To do this, use a cloth soaked in cold water and a can with compressed air inside. This is a fairly simple way how to remove a dent in the bumper with your own hands. Only remove the deformation carefully, consistently, and necessarily, without strong overheating. Since plastic becomes very easily deformable when heated, when correcting the geometry, you need to work evenly from all sides. It is important to note that the bumpers on modern cars, where high-quality plastic and special manufacturing technology is used, have a significant advantage. Thanks to it, the removal of dents on the bumper without painting is carried out. We are talking about the so-called shape memory. The essence of this memory is that during repair and restoration work, when the damage is eliminated, the plastic is able to independently take its original shape. Usually for this purpose, the element is heated and left for 10 to 15 minutes. Watch out for the correct time to start cooling. As soon as the bumper acquires the desired shape, proceed to stop the process. Since the plastic is still hot, it will continue to change its geometry. Therefore, keep a wet rag and compressed air handy, so as not to miss the moment of returning the structure to its pre-accident form. It is recommended to start reassembly only after the plastic bumper has cooled down completely. If you start assembly when the part is still under the influence of high temperature, there is a great risk of damage due to mechanical influences. Read also, self-decoration of the bumper with protective film complex dents. Work with plastic bumpers is quite common and is often performed in home or garage conditions. It is not difficult when the construction is really made of good plastic and does not have serious deformations. When the products are made of metal, then the work on fixing the dent is much more complicated. A powerful magnet will have to be used. It is magnetized at the edge of the deformed area. Next, heating is performed using boiling water. Hot water is poured over the surface of the car bumper. Applying a sufficiently large force, the magnet should start pulling on itself. Gradually, the magnet is moved to the center of the deformed area. At a certain point, the dent should be restored. This is easy to notice by the characteristic sound and the very fact of correcting the geometry of the metal car bumper. A similar method can be used to get rid of dents that appeared on the metal parts of the plastic bumper. When deep deformations are formed on a plastic element, it is best to use the standard method of correction. The motorist will need to take a powerful construction hairdryer and heat the area around the damage. Further, after heating, the damaged element must be quickly cooled using a can of compressed air. The structure is cooled until frost appears on the surface. Now you need to wait, and do not rush anywhere. If the plastic used to make the car bumper really has shape memory, it will soon return to it. It also happens that the damage to the plastic bumper turns out to be much more serious and severe, resulting in cracks and chips. Trying to restore such a construction by their own efforts, experienced motorists and specialists from car services are strongly discouraged. Here it is worth visiting a good workshop where professionals in the field of bodywork work. Given the design features of modern car bumpers, the materials used, and the capabilities of the car owner himself, it is not difficult to perform a number of repair and restoration works at home. To achieve the desired positive result, you should work as carefully and cautiously as possible. Often motorists simply rush and put more effort than is really necessary. This increases the risk of making things worse, rather than solving the problem of a deformed bumper with their own hands. If the dents are complex, chips and cracks have formed, it is not recommended to take a risk and try to fix the defects yourself. Here, the best solution is to visit a good auto repair shop that specializes in bodywork, including the restoration of damaged bumpers. Carefully examine the rationality of such a decision. It is not always more cost-effective to repair a bumper than to simply replace it with a new one. Consider and consult with experts how much it will cost to repair and how much a similar new bumper together with installation costs. Improper restoration in violation of techniques and instructions often leads to the final breakage of the car bumper. Attempts to save money even on the services of craftsmen become an excuse to pay more. First, the owner of the vehicle spends money on self-repair, he does not succeed, and has to pay again, either for the services of specialists or for the purchase of a new bumper for his car. Weighing all the facts and making the right decision, you will be able to significantly save time, money, and other equally necessary and important resources. In conclusion, removing a dent from your car bumper can be a straightforward process if you follow the right steps. By gathering the necessary tools and using techniques like heat application or suction, you can restore your bumper to its original condition without the need for professional help. Remember to be patient and take your time to ensure the best results. With a little effort, you can save money and gain the satisfaction of completing the repair yourself. Thank you for watching, and best of luck with your car repair project.